Nothing in life really prepares you for one of your best friends vanishing. It's haunting and awful and all-consuming. Everything feels like a clue now. I'm just so baffled by her disappearance and pleading for answers. We just want to bring her home.
Thank you for joining us today, Ashley. Could you start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and how you know Angelica?
Yeah, my name's Ashley Seitz. I met Angelica about 3 years ago when we opened a new hospital together here in San Marcos, California. We're both emergency room nurses, work in the night shift, and so we've spent a lot of time together over the last couple of years. And then we're also line dancing partners, so we have spent lots of time both at work and outside of work together.
And obviously, the search for Angelica has dragged into now a third week. How are you feeling with this search still ongoing?
I mean, it's pretty awful. Nothing in life really prepares you for one of your best friends vanishing. We're part of a really tight-knit group at work. There's 5 of us. We call ourselves the Taco Bellas because Taco Bell is how we get through a lot of our night shifts. But it's just really, it's so surreal. I don't have great words for it. I've had to step back into my life and go to work and things like that. And this doesn't feel real most days, or sometimes I'm just overcome by emotion. And I just want this to come to an end. I want to find her.
And that was going to be my next question of what has it been like at work? What is the environment, especially you and your close group of friends? How are you feeling in the days since she's not been there?
It's haunting and awful and all-consuming. And I have to walk by her locker, or our group of friends we have events coming up that we have to now talk about. Like, are we still doing this? Are we still going here? Are we literally going to go to a Padres game and sit next to an empty seat? Like, what are we doing? And you don't really know how to move forward. Obviously, our main goal and focus is to find her. But as this continues to progress and extend, your life also continues, and you have to start facing these things. And it's been incredibly difficult to navigate. Probably as an ER nurse of 4 children, this is still probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to navigate in my life.
And how are you coping with this? Are you leaning onto the other girls who are part of the Taco Bellas?
Yeah. We have so much support at work. Amongst our small group, we have a ton of support. And then all of our work family really has stepped up to frequently check on us, ask if there's anything they can help with. And then for myself personally, I have a strong support group through my own family and friends that have reached out. The amount of people who have reached out to help that don't even know Angelica personally is just a testament to how strong our friendships were and how beautiful she was to everyone. We are running this Facebook group. I'm not a tech savvy person. It has been so far out of my comfort zone. And one of my best friends has stepped up to help us run it. It's just been so encouraging and inspiring in humanity to see all these people just come out of the woodwork and say, we see you're struggling and we want to help.
Do you think you could walk me through some of Angelica's last steps? She was last seen on July 6th, and there's a couple of little details that the police have revealed. If she dropped off her daughter at camp, she was seen leaving a hotel casino, she went to a state park. Do you think you could walk me through those details and kind of tell me a little bit about when you last spoke with her or when you last saw her?
Angelica and I go line dancing frequently. I had last seen her in person the Friday before. I don't remember if it was the Friday before. Friday in June. We had just recently gone line dancing. It was probably the weekend before because it wasn't 4th of July weekend. And then our shifts don't line up all the time, but we talk frequently. And the night before she went missing, she sent our Taco Bella friend group a text just expressing her gratitude for our friendship, which is something that we do all the time. It's how we talk with each other. We are like each other's rocks, and just, I might text them, oh my gosh, the kids were really getting on me today and it was a hard one. Or maybe like, wow, my shift today was so heavy. Thank you girls for being there. Like, we talk to each other like that all the time. So it wasn't abnormal. And then Monday the 6th, as the police reported, she dropped her daughter off at camp. Initially, there was some miscommunications about what had happened, but she had run into another mom at drop off who had said, oh, I haven't gotten back to you. I can do pickup this week. And she was like, great. And so She was not set to pick up anyone at camp, which, as moms in general, I feel like we carpool a lot. That has been something that this story has gotten a lot of criticism about, but we carpool all the time. And I mean, maybe my life's different as a night shifter, but I lean on my village so much. I mean, just today, I have people picking my kids up from camp because I have to work tonight. I work a 15-hour shift. Like, it's a very normal thing to do in my mind. And then, yeah, from there, we knew that she left the casino sometime after or right before 4 because they found video footage of her car leaving. And then we have a timestamp ticket of her up on the mountain just after 4:20. I have not personally heard from her since Sunday the 5th in the evening. And I was at work Monday the 6th expecting to see her. And when she didn't present for her shift, I started texting her and then called her because, we frequently sleep through alarms and stuff like that. And nobody answered. So I reached out to another one of the girls in our Taco Bella group, and she hadn't heard from her. And then I found word that her husband was calling to see if she had maybe come into work early or if she'd showed up to work. And then that was kind of when everything started. And this has been my life now.
And so you said you last heard from her of she was, sending text messages of gratitude, which is something normal in your group chat. Was there any sort of odd behavior signs you might have noticed in the last days that you saw her? Or, thinking back on it now, weeks later, do you think there was anything weird?
Everything looks different, right? When you look, hindsight's 2020, when you look at it through a different lens. I mean, again, her text message is something like we talk to each other all the time, but sure, I can't help but now be like, oh gosh, is this a clue? Everything feels like a clue now. Like I find I'm like, oh gosh, the last time we went line dancing, we went to McDonald's and she got, 6 nuggets instead of 4. Like, is that a clue? Everything feels like a clue. I don't feel like I know anything. I don't know what I know anymore because I'm just so baffled by her disappearance and pleading for answers.
And as you mentioned, she was seen on surveillance camera leaving a casino. It's Harrah's Resort, Southern California. It's a 4-star hotel and casino. Has she visited that place before? Was that an unusual trip for her to make?
I mean, I've been there with her before. It's not something I did regularly. It's not something I knew her to do regularly, but it's not far from where we live. Like, it wouldn't be difficult to visit there. It's not an unusual thing to do in my mind, but I've only been there once with that friend group.
Do you know anything about what her experience was there? Did you guys have a great time? Was it not so great?
Oh, we had a great time. We went to Hell's Kitchen and didn't see Gordon Ramsay, which was frustrating, but I know you can't win every time. But yeah, I mean, I always have a great time with her. She's the goofball of our group. She is always trying to get us in shape. I keep saying to our group, like, gosh, hopefully this is all just an elaborate scheme to get us out hiking and get us in shape. Because she's been saying this is going to be our fittest year yet. And, I don't know.
I mean, I've seen her described as an avid hiker. She obviously, her car was seen going into Palomar Mountain State Park around 4 o'clock. Was this a place she had frequented before? Do you know that if this was a popular hiking spot for her? Have you ever been there with her?
I'd never been. I know that she's been hiking with one of our other girlfriends. They had hiked back in like February, which is why search and rescue efforts also were really heavily focused on the route they took. And they've just been, my girlfriend Elena is the one who went hiking with her in February. She's actually out on the mountain today, just hiking again, with some volunteers that have some dogs just to see if we can find anything. I didn't know her to necessarily frequent that route, but I know that she frequented the mountains in the San Diego area for hiking excursions.
And I mean, I know you said you're not really seeing any like warning signs, particularly before she had disappeared, but do you know if there might have been anything weighing on her heavily? I mean, obviously, in your guys' line of work as emergency room nurses, you probably see a lot of tough stuff. Home life, I'm sure, can be difficult to juggle with kids and, especially those late hours. Do you know if there was anything that had been bothering her?
I don't know of anything specifically. As you said, in our profession, I mean, it's not really possible to do a career in the emergency department and not leave unscathed to some extent. We definitely have a super heavy job and we carry, we essentially carry our community's worst days with us every day. That's what we do for a living. But no, I didn't see anything concerning from her. Um, it's just we had very good support system to talk to each other and whatnot. A lot of nurses find other nurses that kind of be their person because as a nurse, you don't want to burden a lay person with these heavy things because they're not used to coping with, you know, everything that we cope with. And so I can't confidently say there was one thing that stands out. Um, but I do think that mental health and nursing is always important and needs to be, that has to be considered.
And, I kind of want to go back to a bit of the, details of the last day that she was seen. There's a lot of uncertainty with it, and people who are, following the case and, wanting to know more. Obviously, there's not much known about what happened in the hours between her dropping off her daughter at summer camp and then her going to the casino. Do you have any sort of ideas of what she might have done? Is there a particular thing she would do before she would work her night shifts? Is there, does she have some sort of routine that you were aware of?
I get asked a lot about the routine, which is a funny word to me because, again, as a night shift nurse, it's not really in my vocabulary. Um, we have to just roll with the punches. The world is not built for us. So the routine, it depends on what your kids have going on that day. It depends how far behind you are on laundry. It depends if you've been to the grocery store this week. I mean, I can't really say what she does or doesn't do as a routine because speaking for myself, I don't have a routine. Um, but I would love to know what she did the whole day. I would love to know exactly what happened. I would love to find her and bring her home.
And during the search efforts, they found her car 3 days later after she had went missing on July 9th. And I feel like there's been a lot of miscommunication about, the details finding her car. I saw a local report talking about how one of her brothers said he had found it. The police have obviously been using terminology of we found it. I believe you had put out something on the Bring Angelica Brophy Home Facebook group about, her Apple Watch pinging nearby. Do you think you could tell me a little bit about how you guys came to find her car and, those details about the Apple Watch of what role that played?
Sure. I can't explain the tech side of it because, as I said, I don't you can see my watch here. I'm an old school digital watch user. But as she was missing, we were able to find a phone at her house, like an old phone, and get it charged up and then gain access into some of the things throughout her phone to see if we could locate her or whatnot. Again, I don't understand how it works. But we were able to find that her Apple Watch had last pinged at a trailhead near this pond. And so then myself and Elena, our two of the girls of the group, had been in contact with her husband, just trying to brainstorm where we should be looking for her. When we found that it had pinged there, he asked us if we'd ever been hiking there. And Elena was like, yeah, we have been hiking there. So her brother was in the area and went over there. And with the state park ranger, they located her vehicle in the Doan Pond parking lot on Palomar Mountain.
Images have come out of her car at the parking lot of the state park where, it appeared to be a hydro flask, reusable water bottle, maybe her phone charger, maybe a couple items of clothing. You had put out a post talking about how her phone, her wallet, her purse, her passport were found in the car. Could you tell me a little bit about what was found in the car and if any of those things being left behind was unusual for her?
I personally didn't go in her car. Seeing the image, though, of the water bottle is really difficult for me because that is all five of us have that same water bottle, and that is the one that we use at work. Anyways, so she did have her purse, phone, wallet, passport in her car. I mean, I think that's unusual to leave everything, but it wasn't unusual for her to carry all of those items. I know there was a bunch of clothes in the car, but that was like a sisterhood of the traveling clothes that we have. We all just go through our closets and pass things down to each other to be like, I don't know, why don't you just go through and see if you find anything? But yeah, that water bottle's hard because it's everywhere and
Of course, I can imagine that could be difficult. I mean, you mentioned that her passport was with her. Is that something, does she typically carry her passport with her wherever she goes?
yeah, she has her passport with her. I don't know why, but I don't know. I mean, I have my passport with me too, just because there's a zipper pouch that it fits in and then I don't lose it.
And then I was also curious if they found her phone in her car. Police had said they were trying to ping her phone when they were trying to locate her. but they weren't able to get any information, so they, believe that it might have been dead or it might have been shut off. Do you know anything about that? Was her phone dead when it was found?
I know they found her phone and were able to get it on. I'm not sure what they had to do to, I don't know if they had to recharge it or whatnot. I got to the mountain. So they found her car. My friend Elena was gonna go up there. I had to get my kids home. Once I got everyone settled, I called and said, should I come up? And they said yes. And so my husband and I drove up to help search that evening. And by the time I got up there, they had already had it on. So I'm not exactly sure what.
Can you kind of walk me through, what it was like getting to the park that day and like, seeing her car, seeing that evidence of her and then immediately, jumping into the search effort? I mean, what was that like for you?
It's surreal. I was going to drive myself, and my husband said, I think I should drive just because I don't know how this is going to be for you. Um, it's beautiful up there. So that part was also distracting as you're driving up with this like beautiful scenery, but not knowing what you're going to find. We got there, lots of nervous energy. And also, as an ER nurse, we're very much like problem solvers. So I kind of just hit the ground and was like, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's the plan? And Elena, who's also an ER nurse, was up there and is like, we're going to just look for her. And we said, okay, let's go. And so we started off on a trail with flashlights, the three of us. And we were going like the park ranger told us usually if someone's off trail, they're 50 yards or less. So we essentially went 25 to 50 yards off trail and used my husband to anchor us to the trail and just scoured first until it was dark, and then came back because we didn't want, to have to divide the efforts by getting ourselves lost. It's such a pendulum of emotions that I've never experienced. I can be laughing about something and then sobbing hysterically. And, as this has gone on, I feel like sometimes I come off as like numb to this whole situation. But one, I'm a professional compartmentalizer. And two, I have cried about this so much that it's so perplexing and frustrating and devastating, and every emotion you've ever experienced in your life, and then new ones too. It's just haunting. I mean, we just want to find her. We want to know where she is. We want to bring her home safe. We need answers, basically.
I'm sure that has to be hard, and especially if, just wanting to do anything and everything you can. Have you been searching for several days, or do you frequently go on the search effort expedition?
So initially, when we found the car, we did search ourselves. And then as soon as San Diego Sheriff Search and Rescue came on the ground, they asked us to stop so we wouldn't hinder the efforts of the trained search and rescue. So then we spent the next 2 days on the mountain just sitting there to see if we could be helpful with information or answering questions. And then Saturday, that would have been the 11th, I believe. They said that they, have done 2.5 days of extensive search and rescue and really hadn't come up with any answers. They didn't really have a way to guide us. Apparently there's not like a your friend is missing liaison, which I think would be a great thing to have. But at that moment, we just kind of talked as a group. Obviously, we're her very close friends, but we also are here to support her family, and they're the ultimate decision makers and whatnot. And at that point, we decided that it was time to lean on the media and bring everyone in and see if we could find answers from the public. And so we went home that afternoon. All of the remaining Taco Bellas came together and we made a missing persons flyer, which is also not something you ever anticipate doing. Then we went to our work and briefed our night shift. Yeah. So the 4 of us Taco Bellas made a missing persons flyer. Then we went to our work to brief the night shift of what was going on, because we didn't want everyone to just see flyers around and be confused. And so we told everyone what was going on, put up missing person flyers. And then that's when we kind of mounted this social media blitz, for lack of a better word, to try and just get her face everywhere. and see if we could find any information.
So have you, how did you find those words to tell these people that you work with, and especially people, who see her so frequently? How were we able to put that together to, give all them the information while also, trying to protect yourself and your sanity of, having to come to that realization?
Yeah. If you haven't noticed, I'm slightly talkative. And so, as the unofficial spokesperson of the Taco Bellas, essentially, I volunteered to start trying to see what I could come up with. It was very difficult. It was extremely emotional. I feel like I essentially dissociated to do it. Um, just stuck to the facts and tried to, which is so little information that we have, and let everyone know. And then we stayed after our, so we started our shift with a huddle, like a meeting for lack of a better word. And so we stayed after to like talk to people, offer hugs. We stayed to talk to the off-going shift, and then we've tried to just be present for our unit as we go through this, to kind of talk to each other and whatnot. Though on the same hand, it is exhausting. This is my entire life, and I can't even imagine what it's like for her family with how difficult it's been for me. Because we've done a pretty good job of getting out to the media what's going on, which is great. I love that everyone's covering this. I love that she's getting the exposure so we can hopefully help find her immediately. But because of the far reach, there's no getting away from it. I can't just doom scroll on TikTok at night anymore. I can't open my Facebook just to see what my cousins did this weekend. Through all this, I have 4 kids. I had to throw a birthday party for one of my sons. I, attended a family birthday party. It's very weird. I feel like I'm present in these moments, but I'm not actually present because I'm moderating a Facebook group. I'm answering things. I'm seeing what else we could possibly do to try and find her. And so it has been very challenging to navigate.
I mean, that sounds incredibly difficult. And, I want to kind of give you the space as the Taco Bell's spokesperson. A lot of people have been, concerned on social media of like, kind of a lack of her family members speaking to the media. A couple of her brothers have done local interviews. Obviously, she has a husband and 2 kids. Do you want to clear any of the air on that, of just like, giving the chance to explain the family's input in this, especially with talking to the media and trying to get the word out there?
Yeah, I mean, her family is working so hard to find her. Again, none of us have ever been through this. Elena and I are 2 of the friends that have been really communicating with them to support them in any way. It takes a village, and as part of that village, some of us have stepped up to manage other aspects. Her brothers are definitely still talking to the media, but if there's something I can help with, I've been also offering to do that. Her husband and brothers have been instrumental in planning the searching, doing the searching, obviously caring for the children. She has a big family who's come in to support them, and we're here as her friends to support them how we can. And so if, me talking to you in an interview like this is going to be supportive and potentially help bring Angelica home, then that's what I'm going to do.
And obviously, the world has come to know who Angelica is in the recent days and weeks. To people who are tuning into this, they might just see her as a missing mom in California, but to you, she sounds like she's your best friend. She sounds like, she's kind of your person. What do you want the world to know about Angelica?
I mean, Angelica is our goofball. We have so many little clips going around between our group of like funny little things we've done that we're just like, oh my gosh, like we miss her. She's silly. She's always excited for a new adventure. A year or so ago, we decided to take up line dancing because we'd always been wanting to. And she was the one she's very committed, very determined. She's the one helping us learn dances, find the YouTube videos we're supposed to watch, like doing all the things. She's a foodie and loves to go out to eat. She's always looking for new adventures for our group. She's the one who pushes us to actually get things on the books and planned. It's just, I miss her so much. It's hard to even explain exactly what she means to me.
And to kind of close out here, is there anything you want to ask of the public when it comes to searching for her, for people to come forward with information? I want to give you that space to ask people to come forward if they know of anything.
Yeah, I mean, we have our lead agency is the Oceanside Police Department. If you call the non-emergent phone number, I don't have it on me, I'm sorry, with any information about her whereabouts, we just want to find her. We're desperately looking for her. We're still searching the mountain. We're hoping to plan some more volunteer searches here in the coming week. If people are out there searching independently, apps like All Trails or Caltropo can be used to follow your route, and you can send the GPS track. Sorry if I'm getting this wrong. To, I think it's Angelica Brophy search project at gmail.com. And then we have our Bring Angelica Brophy Home Facebook page and group where we're trying to just keep people updated. We just want to bring her home and soon, and we want any information to find where she is.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing all of this and letting us see who Angelica really is. And we hope that this coverage helps.